Our existence on Earth is preserved by what is known to us as the atmosphere. An envelope of gases that is cocooned inside an almost invisible surrounding shell as thin as our own skin. That surrounding shell can only be seen from space, and it appears as a mystical blue line that follows the curvature of our planet. Its immaculate purpose is to shield us from the sun's radiation and to filter the impurities of our everyday activities. In this documentary, we will discover a miracle of nature that sustains our balance of life, the journey of a gas that is the gift of ozone. During an electric thunderstorm, the discharge of lightning has the ability to convert oxygen into ozone. It does this by splitting the oxygen molecule. The vagrant atom attaches itself to existing intact molecules and forms O3, commonly known as ozone, energized oxygen. Magnificent waterfalls like the Niagara Falls in Canada generate ozone consistently, as do the massive breaking waves found in Hawaii and in the Pacific Ocean. Ozone presents itself in the form of a blue gas, and it has a distinct odor, as that of a late afternoon rain. This is how Mother Nature purifies our air. Ozone literally sanitizes the pollutants and gases that are generated by our daily existence. But because we are combusting so much oxygen, the ozone layer has suffered.
All the gases, the organic gases that gets expelled from the surface of the planet finds its way up into the upper air, into the upper stratosphere, where the ozone layer is, and this is of course where the ozone is immediately there to combat, to neutralize all these pollutants. And due to the fact that there's an excessive, shall I say, volume of pollutants being generated, the ozone layer finds it very hard to neutralize this, and hence creating a hole.
What this means to us is that with less purified air, there is less oxygen in the atmosphere, and scientists have proved that most diseases are due to an insufficient amount of oxygen in the body, and especially so in the case of cancers.
If you look at all the cars exhausting fumes, organic gases into the atmosphere, naturally that the oxygen levels are being pushed further away from human beings, with the ultimate result in us inhaling all these toxins.
Fairly diverse, and of course it's of great benefit to our atmosphere and to nature. Most importantly, it makes human life possible. Ozone is vital for cell creation, and that all begins with respiration. Red blood cells carry oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. Ozone, applied in precise amounts, increases oxygen uptake and stimulates the release of oxygen throughout the body. This strengthens our immune system. It enhances healing and speeds up recovery. And this is why ozone has so many medical applications. It is highly effective in the treatment of psoriasis, wounds and burns, dermatitis, cancerous ulcers, and diabetes. These are all topical applications, but ozone is also used in the treatment of cancer and HIV. We will experience some observations from individuals who have overcome seemingly impossible battles with disease and viruses using only ozone.
There is nothing more powerful, more effective, more sustainable, more predictable than ozone when it comes to treating disease.
There's a lot of scope for ozone to treat a whole host of bone diseases, osteoarthritis, and probably many other more conditions.
Probably half my practice runs on ozone.
Ozone therapy is, I would say, is a great medical breakthrough of our time.
Lots of diseases around us are being created for ourselves due to the fact of the absence of oxygen.
It's a very valuable treatment to treat your infected wounds.
But no wound healing success story compares to Marie-Christelle Swartz. She was involved in a car accident and was left with infected tissue on half of her face.
I was very worried that my face wasn't going to heal properly and that I was going to be left with very bad scarring. If you've seen what I looked like then and what I look like now, it's unbelievable what Ozone did for me.
The remarkable beauty of ozone is that it scavenges only the infected tissue, yet it simultaneously nourishes healthy cells by supplying enriching oxygen to those unaffected areas. Dr. Sean Stewart demonstrates.
Here we have a polyatomic apheresis machine, which is a very strong ozone machine. There is an oxygen cylinder, pure oxygen, 99.997% pure from Afrox. The oxygen goes into the machine and comes out at the moment. We are running pure oxygen out the system, and here's a quick test. There's oxygen bubbling out. You see that bubbling? Take the oxygen and I apply it to my skin. Obviously there's going to be no damage, and I apply it to the latex glove for this example, and as you can see, nothing's happening to the latex whatsoever, just operating. Now this is a visual example of what ozone does to viruses in the body. Normal healthy tissue, viral particulate. Healthy tissue, viral particulate. Turn on the machine, and as you can see, I've done nothing else. I just turn it on. The bubbling is still going through the system. Put it on my skin. Nothing's doing, no damage to the skin. It's whatsoever. I can flap around. Nothing's happening to the skin. But when I apply it to the latex, it eats away the latex glove rather rapidly. Can you see this? And that's the speed ozone kills disease in the body. Very rapidly. There's nothing like it on the planet.
Everything started with a phone call from Emma. She said, no, there's this lady who wanted to introduce the ozone machine from Medizone, and as I put down the phone, I started researching it.
I mean, no doctor will basically tell you, especially not in Somerset West vicinity, will tell you about ozone. Most of them don't believe in ozone. The thing with chemo is that it totally destroys your immune system. It totally destroys everything in your body. You don't have a chance of building up your immune system after chemotherapy, after you've had, 12 grueling sessions of chemo.
Because for any kind of cancer, you need strong, healthy cells, and after chemo and treatments, there's very little of that left.
The cell becomes cancerous whenever it is denied 60% of its oxygen requirements through either a pollution or a toxicity.
Having enriched oxygen in the body, you will not find cancer growth. The cancer growth is suppressed because cancers grow in anaerobic conditions. That means the absence of oxygen.
The ozone goes to the area and actually kills off the damaged and dying tissue and the cancerous tissue and stimulates new healthy cells to grow in its place.
Everyone's got cancer in their body. Some just gets activated, some doesn't. And your body doesn't have a chance to fight that once it's gone with chemo. I mean, now you've got to find a way of building your immune system so that it can quickly, restore your body, and there's just no way. We found with the ozone that it definitely builds immunity. I haven't had a cold or anything since we've, started with that.
And I haven't been sick since I used the Medizone.
Ek weet nie wanneer laas ek 'n verkoue gehad het, as ek vir jou sê 3 jaar dan kan dan is dit seker gewees 3 jaar.
I haven't been near a doctor in about 5 years, 6 years, even longer.
Since year 2005, I've never been in the doctor for anything. Not me, not my wife, not my kids, no one. Since we have this machine. In fact, I don't have one, I have two. Let's play one.
It's not one medicine for one ailment. This is one medicine for a whole host of ailments.
Causes of flus,
Bronchitis,
Chronic allergic rhinitis,
Gangrene,
Cirrhosis,
some diabetes and sinusitis,
bone diseases,
lupus,
Arthritis.
dermatological problems.
asthma,
epileptic fits,
the cancer.
HIV.
The one simple ozone solves the whole problem by itself. With ozone or oxygen therapy or oxytherapy, which this is the school, you find that there are 4 main rules of operation. And when you start or begin your therapy, you will always have primarily detox.
Jy weet, hy ontgif jou liggaam, hy vat al die gifstowwe uit jou liggaam uit.
Number 2, destruction of disease.
If I knew what I knew now about ozone, I wouldn't have even gone for chemo.
The third area is then repair of damaged tissue.
Within 2 days, the wound on top of my eye, there was no more pus. It cleared up completely.
And number 4, improvement of well-being and enhancement of function. To summarize, number 1 is detox. Number 2, destruction of disease. Number 3, repair of damaged tissue and cell. And lastly, you will have the 4th point is improvement of performance and well-being.
The general public are moving towards a more holistic approach to healing because they are dissatisfied with the results of drugs and chemical medication. Errol Matetwa suffered with arthritis for many years. That was until he discovered Medizone.
I tried so many things. And it couldn't work, you know, until such time that I saw this machine. Though I did not believe at the beginning that the machine was going to work, but since I insisted using it, well, I saw the result.
I asked him to show me his hands, and I was virtually surprised to see that all the nodules on his fingers had disappeared. His fingers were straightened. He was able to make a fist, and according to him, he was virtually pain-free.
How much we value our health determines how much we will end up paying in medical costs should we fall ill. The cost of buying into Medizone has long-term health benefits.
There's 2 problems with ozone. The one thing is it is too simple, and the other thing is too cheap. Unfortunately, because it's too cheap, that's why it's not very viable business.
The doctors themselves, the medical fraternity and the pharmaceutical industry will lose a lot of income in the drug sales if something that is non-patentable, i.e. ozone, is put on the market in large scale.
I think if something like this has to come out, a lot of people is going to lose a lot of money.
I'm wasting no money now to go to the doctor. I'm just using my machine.
We're going to cancel our medical aid and just get a hospital plan, because I don't really think we need it anymore. Because everything that happens in our house, we cure with the Medizone machine.
So I would advise anybody to definitely go for ozone. There's no 2 ways about it.
Anybody that's got any doubts, any questions about ozone, Medizone, any products, please use it. Try it. That's all I can say to anybody. It is honestly a miracle.
And we have seen many cancer patients get well. HIV patients improve to the point where they come in being dragged into the facility, and they literally, after a time of period which can range depending on the patient from 3 to 6 months, walking in and out, catching 2 buses, a train and a taxi to get here, come for their therapy, go back to work, get back on with their lives.